So I'm Max Gail, and I'm a parent and a person. I've been a teacher, an actor, a student for a long time. Probably most people would connect me up as an actor, or I get recognized for the work I've done as an actor because it's a real visible kind of work. When people say, "Where do I know you from?" which I hear a lot, "Gee, you look familiar to me," or something, or "Haven't I seen you in the movies?" or something, I start with Barney Miller because it's a TV show that was on we shot for 7.5 seasons, and then it went immediately into reruns and was on twice a night for another 8 years in most cities, and it's still playing someplace. We had critical success, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I did a show, we did a half a season, and they showed it on ABC called Sons and Daughters. One of the things I was in the habit of attending was the California State University Conference on Disabilities, and an expo that's held there in Los Angeles every year. And I met you, Peter, founder of Play Attention. We got to talking, and I thought you had a great heart and great concept that's been executed in ways, and it had a great meaning both for my son, who was about 13 at the time, he's now 16, and for me, my son Max. Really, really bright kid who was having difficulties with certain aspects of school. And I saw that they were the same difficulties I had, although when I was in school, it was easier to slide around those things or get by. The school, a certain amount of curriculum had changed to the point where, and he was, to the same degree, he was smarter than I. He was also had these other issues going on that there's different labels that had been put on them, and I just found while there was some value in those labels, they were not really helpful. They weren't providing solutions, and they sure weren't providing really even meaningful understanding. They were just kind of ways of identifying patterns. And most of the solutions that were being offered had to do with drugs, and I had some intuitive issues with that, and some explorations we'd done just didn't seem to be the problem. So then hearing this understanding that there are ways to provide kind of guided experiences and interactions where there was a feedback in what was happening in terms of attention, and that by doing that this was not a sort of hardwired state that was a problem that somebody had and they just had to try harder. Now it comes sort of circled around to where I'm understanding it in a deeper way. A lot of that has come from my own reading and research about behavior, and there's been enormous understandings of the correlation of the brain and the mind, and we know that the brain is way more plastic. And so those analogies, like with yoga, that there can be some really helpful ways to help people whose own particular kind of giftedness might have worked at another time, but maybe getting exacerbated by the way our world is today, and they're having a lot of recurring pain and lack of success or confusion or just problems in their lives that can really be help. There's something they can do about it. And a lot of these people are aging adults like myself. A lot of these people are not so aged adults, but they're dealing with problems they've had since they were kids, and a lot of them are kids. And they're kids that are having problems with the school systems that have their own challenges and problems. But you add this special set of difficulties to that, and it's really meaningful that there are solutions that are available. This process and these tools and this team, this entity called Play Attention. I love the name Play Attention. I love that there's something behind it very meaningful that's come from people who have worked with kids and care about kids and care about these kinds of problems, and have identified that there are solutions and are in the process of working with that and finding ways that there are other applications of it. And Play Attention, with the technology and the coaching component of it, really creates a a way that there can be that guide and a practice of working to develop those kind of skills and strengths that are missing. Play attention, puts that focus on play state, which is really how we learn. Play attention provides a practice that's meaningful, that can be fun to do, and this is kind of specialty technology, even though it's made up of stuff that's around. It's kind of new to get it out to people. It's new for people to hear about it. So that process is mostly families or people that are at their wits' end, that finally find out about play attention, and they call and get connected and try it, and it works, and then they're really thankful, and then it's like, well, how do we share that story? Working with play attention and the kind of circle or family around it already, which has many overlaps with those realms of education and parks and recreation and juvenile services, and that I've been doing in my work with the notion of the community lap. Where is that whole circle of community? As a person who resonates with this personally, both in what my life has been, where my strengths and weaknesses have been, and everything I've tried to do, where I've found that I can thrive, but where I've struggled with things that I've wanted to do, and I've found myself kind of dropping the ball in ways that left me feeling really awful about myself. Watching my son in particular, but really all of my kids in some ways, struggle with these things, and then to see that there really is a way to use some technology and some understandings and some relationships to deal with those issues in a way to create a sense of having some kind of empowerment over that, rather than a kind of powerless, confused sort of feeling that makes you want to deny it or run away from it or get angry about it or blame somebody, or that's a really wonderful thing. And what I see with play attention is that it's really about how do we just keep getting this out there. And I'd like to participate in that and sharing it with other people who I see that might not even know about play attention yet, but it answers a lot of needs that they care about, because they're responsible for kids or elders, or in many different fields out there, people doing good work for whom this would be something wonderful.